Happy Tuesday and welcome back to another episode of Charge Collective, the podcast that's here to help you become the best version of yourself through teaching health, wealth and happiness. Today, on our podcast, we've got a little episode about framing yourself better. And I feel like this is really important to a lot of Australians. I know that we all struggle with that tall poppy syndrome, so we really struggle to share our story, and if we're going good in life, we really struggle to tell others about that and help others. And one thing that really stuck with me a couple of years ago, I was speaking to a coach of mine, or a mentor, I guess you say, and I started telling him my story, and he was like, man, he's like, you should really start sharing that a lot more. And I really struggled with that. I was like, oh, it feels real dicky to sort of say that. And he's like, you've got a moat around yourself. Like, you've done really well by the age of, at that stage I was 24. He's like, so many young kids could look up to you. And he goes, it's really selfish if you don't share that story. And once I sort of did start hearing that, it played on my mind for a little bit. And obviously now over the last couple of months, I've really started diving into sharing the story of who I am and how I did become the version of myself. But then it really occurred to me again over the weekend that I could really start framing myself a lot better. And I think it really gives us a clear indication on who we want to be in ourselves, but then it also gives everyone else a clear indication on who we are as a person as well. I know a lot of us aren't really clear on what we want to do in this life. I know for myself, probably the last 2 months, when everyone's asked me what I do for myself or what I do for work, I've really beat around the bush with that question. I sort of say, oh, I did used to be a builder, and I'd done a bit of personal development stuff, and I was in property. And instead, like over the last couple of weeks, I've really changed my outcome to I'm starting a personal development brand, and that's just what I say. And then if they do keep talking, I say how I did get into the building when I was young, and then went into doing investing, and now I've ended up here. But it's really helped me a lot in sort of just framing who I am more, and I really do need to get better at it and get clearer in that version of who I want to be, who I am in the community as well. So I've just laid out like 3 little steps that I think will help a lot of you guys out there. Just get a bit of a better frame on yourself and know what you want out of life, and then also allow other people to get a bit of a better idea on who you are, because I think you never know who you're going to meet. And if you meet someone and you just say, oh, I'm Lane and I'm a builder, and you never know that person who you're talking to, for me, it could have been someone who's already got a personal development company. And they could have, if I had said, oh yeah, I'm starting my own personal development company, they could be, oh, awesome, man, I'll help you along the way. Whereas if I'm a builder, like, they don't really have anything to give me and help me out along that path. So you just never know. And if you frame yourself in the right light, that could really help you out massively meeting that right person. So the number one thing is, I think it's to know your core, know what you stand for. So for me, I really stand for being a better person, helping people out in the community, always trying to do the right thing. There's never a wrong time to do the right thing is one slogan that I'm really taking on board at the moment. But then also in my training, I really try and be healthy in that sort of aspect. So try and know what you stand for. I stand for a really strong Australia, really strong cultured people, and just helping out everyone around the community is one thing that I stand for. Look at your strengths. What are some strengths that you take in your life? Where do you feel like you have your strong points? Everyone's got our own strong points, and it's just about finding what your strong points are. And then also have a vision. Where are you heading? What is your big vision in life? Where do you actually want to end up? Because that can really be a frame that you say you might be doing something, but your goal is to get to this area as well. So always have that vision in front of mind and why you want to get there and what it will be once you do end up there. So the next thing is to control how you're seen. With this, I sort of done a little activity on this, on how do I be seen better and how do I see myself better. So the first question that it gave me was 5 words that you want to be associated with. And this was actually really difficult for me. I'm not a big words person, but I sat down for about 15 minutes to try and pick about 5 words that I wanted to be associated with. And I encourage all you guys during the podcast now to pause the podcast, definitely come back, but just pause the podcast and try and think of 5 words that you really want to be associated with. And if you lived up to those 5 words, your life would be very whole and you'd be happy living that life. So for me, the 5 words were courageous, passionate, caring, driven, and fun. And I feel like if I live up to those 5 words, that gives a pretty clear example of the life that I want to live. And then another step in controlling how we're seen and controlling how you see yourself is also just to write a 2-sentence intro into who you are. And with this one, for me, I really do struggle with writing. So it's not exactly how I want it to be, but this is a bit of something that popped up to mind for me. And if I was to introduce myself, it's I'm Lane, I stand up for those, it's I'm Lane and I stand up for what I believe in. I also live a life of purpose, putting out as much positive energy at any given time. So for me, I just feel like that's a pretty clear, I really enjoy putting out positive energy into the community, but then I also want to stand up for what I believe in when I believe that. So I want to have that clear line between right and wrong. So that's the first 2. The first one was know your core, and the second one was control how you're seen. And then the next one we've got here is sharpen your story. So everyone has their own story that is special to them. And that doesn't matter who you are. Everyone is completely different in our own little ways. So really try and pick on like, what is special to you? Why are you special? And just dig deeper. Really try and dig deep into what you want to let people know about you. And don't just share what you do. Say how and why you got there. So for me, like, I don't just share that I'm a personal development coach. For me, it's like, I'm a personal development coach. I got here through getting on the trades when I was young, doing that 6 days a week, 10 hours of work a day, working all my ass off to get my properties, get my investment properties. Then I went into property. I found out I didn't want to do that. And now I've decided that I've came around to the reason that I really want to help other people along that path. So that just gives you a clear explanation on, don't just say what you do, say how you got there and why you got there as well. And then also just like give a clear background and goals about what you want to do with your life. Give the background, like I said, give some previous stuff that you've done in your life that you're proud of, and also some stuff that you're not proud of. Show people that you are human, that you've made mistakes along the way as well, because we've all got a real human touch. So if no one expects you to be perfect, so if you can really show them that you have made mistakes in your life, but you're trying to be a better version, people really resonate to that as well. And then also share from your goals. People love to hear your goals. And one thing that I've really heard, and it's something that I really do want to start taking on to a lot more, is instead of like the age old, like, oh, how's your day? Not how's your day, what do you do for work? It's instead of asking someone that, it's like, if you didn't have to work and you could like live your perfect day, what would your perfect day look like? And I think we find out so much more about a person when we spark their imagination, and if they did have that perfect day, what would that look like for them? So I encourage us all to really sharpen our own story, but then also try and find other people's stories, dig a bit deeper into other people. So yeah, I hope those 3 frameworks help you guys into framing yourself better. So it's know your core, so know who you are, know what you stand for, and then control how you're seen. Control how you see yourself, but then also how others see you. And then sharpen your story. We've all got our story that we should really want to share and hone in on. And that allows other people to see who we are. And then use your frame everywhere you go. It's a reminder to the person that you want to be. Don't just think of it once and then never share it. Always share it. Just solidify that in your brain that that's the person you're aiming to be and the person that you are. So I hope that podcast helps you today, guys. It's a short, sharp one, and it would really mean a lot if you guys could subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, but then also share to your socials, guys. I'm trying to grow a movement here, so if you can get as many people along to listen to the podcast, that would be awesome as well. Catch you guys. Love yous. Have a great rest of your week.